Mariam Memar Sadegh,
Islam.
sitting where you are, where do you come out on this debate that's raging in India? In Iran, you've got women fighting against the right to wear the hijab, against having to wear the hijab. In India, you've got some women, girl students in school fighting for the right to wear the hijab.
I think the critical difference is that India is a democracy and Iran is a totalitarian regime. Women have no choices. Men have no choices because there is no right to representation. There's no freedom of speech. There's no choice about anything, not even in one's private life. The regime dictates how people should live their lives, even in private. In India, you have a democracy. You have an independent judiciary, you have human rights codified, and it's a situation like Iran had prior to the revolution where people can exercise their choice. Some people may want to have hijab, some people may not want to have hijab. Whether India as a country or as a region, regions within India or towns within India decide whether girls, when they walk into the school, they should have hijab or not, is something that the democratic process can decide or your independent judiciary can rule upon. But the two cases, Iran and India, are really polar opposites.
But the fact is, in school, don't you want everyone to look the same? And that is the critical question over here. Zainab, Aliyah, in school, I'm not contesting what happens when people grow up. You know, it's really people's right to choose. But in school, you want to create a sense that
yes,
to the extent possible, everyone is as equal as can be.
The points being raised in the Supreme Court are that since the uniforms that have dupatta as part of their uniform, the girls are wearing the same dupatta on their head. So if a girl chooses to wear that dupatta on her shoulder and another girl chooses to put it on her head, I don't know how much of a difference it is creating, that it's creating such a big havoc in our judiciary. It's the same piece of cloth on her head and on her shoulder. That is the only difference. I don't know why it should instill fear in the hearts of the students.
Zakia, Soman, I don't buy that argument, but I'll let you contest it instead, that it's the hijab is essentially the dupatta worn across your head.
So see, it is hijab, or for that matter, any dress code which is imposed on the women. It's part of a patriarchal norm. It's part of a misogynist norm. So it should be rejected outright. There is no doubt about that. And what the Iranian women are doing is extremely courageous and extremely inspiring. But we need to understand our realities in India are a bit different from Iran. As was very rightly said, they are a theology. They are a state based on religion, whereas we are a secular democracy. So we have the right to religious freedom. We also have the right to privacy. We have the right to education. So when these girls, their education is being stalled because they are in hijab, so their opportunities to empower themselves, to liberate themselves, and to be able to exercise their choices in their life matters, those choices are being taken away from them. So that is the entire, sad truth about this controversy over the hijab. It's ultimately denying our girls the education. It's ultimately doing a lot of loss to the society and to the country.